So this recipe is near and dear to my heart. It is probably one of the first recipes that I put together on my own that I really became proud of. After I did a lot of research online, I took bits and pieces of what I thought was gonna be good, put this together. It's got heat to it, it's got really good chili flavor, and I know this can be a little controversial to some, but I do use beans in my chili. When I used to make this recipe, I used to do it in the crock pot. By all means, use the crock pot, but today I'm gonna be using a Dutch oven just because I can get everything cooked inside of there without having to use extra pots and pans. Cover it up, and then we'll let it sit in the oven at 275 for about 6 hours. And then for an extra touch, I'm using fresh ground beef. I picked up some ground chuck from the grocery store, along with a little bit of ground sirloin just to mix it up. And then I have a KitchenAid contraption that goes on top, and it juices and does meat grinding. I've used it in my marinara recipe, so I'll leave a card up there if you want to check that out. So we'll play with that and put the recipe together, and let's just get into it.
Let's start off with the ground beef. I'm going to be using chuck and sirloin. Cut off any fat or silver skin that might not make it through, and then we'll be cutting it down to 1-inch pieces. Next, I'm going to be using a KitchenAid attachment that can grind meat. I've used this a few times before and have great results. Oh no, what is it doing? I've never ground chuck before, and I guess I probably should have tested this out first. It doesn't look like it's going to go through, so change the plans. We're going to leave the meat whole, and then we're going to brown it in a Dutch oven with a little bit of olive oil. Season with salt, pepper, add about 1 shallot, 1 white onion, 2 cloves of garlic, and about 3 to 4 chili peppers of your choosing. For the seasoning, use 3 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 tablespoon of ancho chili powder, 1 tablespoon of ground coriander, 1 tablespoon ground cumin, 1 teaspoon onion powder, 1.5 teaspoons of garlic powder, and 1 teaspoon oregano. Mix it up and let it simmer for a few minutes. Then we're going to add a 30-ounce can of diced tomatoes, 24 ounces of pinto beans, and about 16 ounces of kidney beans. More or less until the pot is full. Set it in the oven and let it cook at 325 for about 4 to 6 hours. After it's done, all that's left is to thicken it up. Now to do that, some use masa, others use potato flakes, but I like to use blended beans. I'll take about 8 ounces of the leftover kidney beans, blend it until smooth, and then stir it into the chili. Let this set while it cools down for about 10-15 minutes. And then serve it up with your favorite garnishes, and you're ready to eat.
All right, let's give this a shot. I know it was supposed to have ground beef in it, but we made the best of it. I think that's what cooking's all about. Sometimes things don't go how you want, but figuring out how to work with what you've got to make a dish for the family is what it's all about. The chuck is fork tender, perfectly cooked. Hopefully it tastes as good as it looks. You know, sometimes when things don't go out as planned, it comes out even better. The chuck, I've always been a ground beef person when it comes to my chili. And I know stew meat is also used in chilies, and I've just never really been into it. But I might not go back to ground beef. It's got such a better bite, and it's got a nice heat to it. Definitely give you a few beads of sweat, but nothing where you feel like you're dying and need to go to the hospital. It's got great flavor, perfectly salted. It's so comforting, and I don't care if it's 100 degrees outside like it is today, or if you're in the middle of the fall, I'm always ready for chili. And put this over some Frito chips and give yourself a Frito chili pie on a Sunday morning, right before you turn on the football game, because, you know, I'm always watching football. I haven't watched football in like 15 years, but it doesn't mean I'm not ready for game day food. I'm gonna go take this to the table, eat it with the family. And that's all I got for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want the recipe, I've got the links down below. Hit that thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. Do me a huge favor, hit that notification bell, because I don't want you to miss a single recipe, and I'll see you in the next video.